When we talk about something like a women's refuge, we're talking about somewhere basically that's safe. It's as simple as that. Somewhere where people can get on with their ordinary human life without the pressure of violence, the pressure of blackmail of one sort or another, where they can actually take some space to reconnect with what's important to them, make relationships in their own time, in their own way. People sometimes say that a home is never really a home unless it has some guests, or at least the capacity to receive guests. I think the same goes for a country, that if we can't actually receive people, welcome people here, there's something missing in us. We've become defensive, we've become frightened, and that's what worries me most, I think, when people get anxious about refugees, asylum seekers. It's as if we've allowed our common life to be defined too much by being afraid. If we're really confident of the life we have together, we ought to be able to open it to others. I think for several hundred years this country has been welcoming to refugees of all kinds, and they've made a colossal contribution to the life of this country intellectually and in industry and commerce, but above all just in ordinary life. And I think the best thing that a person seeking asylum, seeking refuge in this country can hope for is to become normal, to become an accepted part of the life of a community. And of course people become an accepted part of the life of a community when others treat them with ordinary respect, ordinary politeness and ordinary kindness. Everybody has a role to play in that sense. Receiving refugees is not a matter of somebody signing papers in some remote office. It's a matter of making friends with new neighbours. It's a matter of turning strangers into a part of the community, and that's done most just by that, treating them normally as part of the fabric of the life of this country, this community. I think when people do open their doors or extend their hands to make new friendships and new relationships with the people who've arrived in this country, it reminds them that this country isn't just some hermetically sealed bit of the world. It's a place where we can learn from everybody, learn from a wide range of people with backgrounds often of real struggle and real difficulty. It puts our own lives into perspective, it enriches our lives by the sheer cultural variety that comes, and it does just spring us out of that concern with ourselves and our own problems that can paralyze us at times. Generosity is something which genuinely makes us more who we are, and generosity towards strangers, in a peculiar way, does make us more ourselves. It's certainly true that in the last 100 years, perhaps even in the last half century, the number of people moving across borders and the number of people displaced by violence has been particularly large, but it's not a new thing in itself. The whole story of the Bible really centers around experiences of displacement. People moving from one culture to another, being moved by others, by world events, by violent events sometimes. And there's something about the whole identity of the refugee which is very deeply built into our religious understanding. Even the words used in the Bible about being a Christian are to do with being a resident alien, being somebody who's come from somewhere else. So I think in all of that cultural and religious history there's a reminder that our identity is never just something absolutely fixed and final, depending on everybody staying exactly where they started. There's a real engagement, a real relationship that changes all of us, and that's part of the purpose of our human life.